Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by top manager Egis Klimas. Egis, how are you here in Abu Dhabi?
I'm good. Getting hot.
It is very hot. I'll try not to keep you too long. We're here for the weigh-in, of course. Dimitri Bivol defending his title against Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. How do you see the fight going, and how good has Bivol been looking and sounding in the camp so far?
I think Dimitri shouldn't have any problems. I think but you never know. It's a boxing, and I've seen a couple of the last fights of Zurdo Ramirez. He's a good fighter. It's very good fight going to be for light heavyweight division.
Now, he defeated Canelo last time out, career best victory. Now goes in against another very talented, unbeaten opponent in Zurdo. Do you think that he gets the respect, Bivol, that he deserves at large in the boxing community?
Of course he deserves. He's a champion. He's WBA champion, and he's a holding, and he's doing all the damage in the light heavyweight division, and I think he's keep doing it.
If all goes well on Saturday, as you predict, would you like to see him go back in with Canelo, or would you like to see him unify the entire division against Artur Beterbiev?
I believe always it's more interesting about the unifying titles, not going back into the rematches.
Good to know. Now, on the subject of unifying titles, you also work with Oleksandr Usyk, of course. Frank Warren and his team seem very confident that Usyk will fight in the early part of 2023 against Tyson Fury in an undisputed fight we all are desperate to see. Tell us from your side of things, how likely is that to happen?
Everything is done from our side. Everything, absolutely. So it's only for one guy who can say, yes, we're going, that's Fury.
What happens, and I'm sure this isn't going to happen, but just in case, what happens if Chisora upsets Fury on December the 3rd?
Then we're going to go and unify titles with Chisora.
Who you already beat fairly comfortably, I would suggest.
Yes, yeah, we did, but again, boxing is boxing, and one time you beat, one time you can lose, one time, you can draw, and all kind of different happening.
Just give us an insight, if you don't mind, into Usyk's mindset at the moment, because he's been through a lot, not just in winning the title and then defending against Joshua, but all the stuff with the war and going back home and enlisting. It must be a very emotional time for him.
Yes, of course, and especially right now I spent a couple of weeks with Usyk. He came to the United States. We traveled together, went to Puerto Rico, to New York, and I can tell the way he is touched about that situation going on in the country.
How does he manage, and I know it may be a better question asking him, but you know him very well, how does he manage to block that stuff out and concentrate on the task at hand, whether in the gym or in the ring?
Well, he's a professional. He's a professional fighter. He's been all his life, and what I see, he's a very, very strong-minded.
What happens after the Fury fight? Assuming Usyk defeats Fury, becomes undisputed champion, that's kind of hitting the peak of the sport. Would he look potentially to walk away at that point, or are there still more goals that he has?
We'll think about that, and how about vacate all the heavyweight titles and go back and pick up all the cruiserweight titles?
That would be making more history, yeah. We talked about Fury earlier. You said everything's done from your side. The only person you're waiting on now is Fury. What do you make of him as a character? He seems like someone difficult to negotiate with, because you never know quite what he's going to say or feel like day to day.
As Oleksandr said in his interviews, Fury is borracho.
We're not going to agree or disagree on that score. But is it challenging for you to see him saying one thing one day and then something completely different the next day?
I already used it. It's no news.
And what about from an in-the-ring perspective? What sort of challenges do you think Usyk will have against Fury that he hasn't in the past? Is it mainly the size difference?
Size different, of course. It's not into Usyk's favor. He's a giant. Also, you can take it, don't take it bad. He's a good fighter. He's a talented fighter, first of all. Second, he has a good boxing IQ. So he is a very, very dangerous fighter.
Just finally, we expect to see Anthony Joshua here over the weekend. From your side and your team, lots of respect for Joshua fighting Usyk twice and still a lot to offer the sport?
Well, it's a lot of respect for Anthony always, before the fight, during a fight, after the fight. he got a little bit loose after the second fight, but it's okay. You know, it's the guy, you know, a bigger guy got beaten by the smaller guy, and of course, you know, wasn't happy, but it's understandable.
Brilliant. Egis Klimas, absolute pleasure. I'll let you get out of the heat.